Hello and welcome back to the channel. You've probably seen a lot of the day in the life videos from software engineers, which are cool because they offer a glimpse into daily routines and how they manage their time. But today I want to take a deeper look into what it really entails to be a developer and what it's like once you've been coding for a longer period. Before we dive in, I want to clarify that my anecdotes are not meant to discourage anyone from learning to code. This is simply a personal account of my experiences and the lessons I've learned along the way, and I hope my insights can provide value to anyone considering this path. But before we jump in, let me get to my office. Now that I'm at my desk, let me tell you, all of this can get repetitive. This is especially true when working on tasks that involve similar or even identical steps. For instance, checking your issues or project management usually goes like this. You get a task for a bug assigned to you, read up on it, try to replicate it, debug, figure out the problem, and push your change. Then you rinse and repeat this entire process for several other bugs across your apps. One way to mitigate the repetitiveness is to try new things. When possible, I like to take the initiative to brainstorm new ideas or features and pitch them to my team. More often than not, your project lead will appreciate fresh perspectives. Doing this really helps break the monotony of those mundane tasks that are just part of the job. It's all about finding ways to inject your creativity into your routine. Since we're talking about how sometimes work as a developer can get repetitive, let me tell you about Slack's new Workflow Builder and the sponsor for today's video. The Workflow Builder is an easy-to-use, no-code tool to help you automate your everyday repetitive tasks. Using connectors, you can effortlessly run actions on your favorite third-party apps. For example, let's say you've been assigned to start a new project. Instead of manually going through the different apps, you can use a Slack workflow to do it for you. From brainstorming on Miro, tracking progress on Asana, scheduling meetings for Zoom, and all of the other small tasks with just one click. Also, you can explore the pre-built workflow templates to find other ways to save time every day. To get started, I recommend you check out Slack's developer program, where you can start building workflow automations and Slack apps and so much more. You get free access to the developer sandbox, which is great if you like to experiment and try new things like me. Other cool perks of the developer program include invitations to in-person Slack events, an exclusive developer newsletter, insights, and much more. So yeah, go check out Slack's developer program using my link down below and start building. Thank you Slack for this awesome resource and for sponsoring today's video. So the second thing I want to bring up is that coding is painstakingly slow. This is something that caught me off guard when I was just starting out. Unlike the fast-paced hackerman style you see in movies and shows, coding is nothing like that and can be quite boring to watch in action. With that in mind, patience is a pretty important soft skill to have as a developer. It often requires long amounts of time and persistence to solve complex problems or debug some tedious legacy code that another developer wrote. Legacy code often lacks proper documentation, which slows you down even more. This is, again, where patience is key. You have to be willing to take the time to understand what's going on, even when it gets frustrating. Next point I want to bring up is the constant hustle and grind mindset that you find in the development community. It's not uncommon to hear about developers working on side projects or launching their own startups, as these endeavors allow them to explore new tech, build a portfolio, or even a successful company. The ideas of capitalism and entrepreneurship are deeply ingrained in the developer culture, often celebrated for fostering innovation and creativity, though they can also create a pressure to succeed. At least that's the feeling I get living here in the United States. The pressure to constantly hustle and succeed both at work and outside can really weigh on some people, leading to anxiety and stress. So when you're starting out, it's worth taking a moment to think about the kind of work-life balance you want. Finding that balance is crucial for your mental well-being and can make a huge difference in how satisfied you feel with your career in the long term. So along with the growth mindset is the fact that you're always having to learn new things to keep up with industry standards. For instance, a little over a year ago, I had no idea what Next.js was. Now I'm considered the Next.js developer for the team, and this is all stuff I had to learn and practice outside of my 9-to-5 work hours. It's important to stay up to date with evolving tech and trends because the industry moves pretty fast. Again, this is something to have in mind because I know other people might prefer a job where they can coast and simply work their scheduled work hours and call it a day. But overall, I don't mind having to learn new things every now and then. On the flip side, doing the same thing over and over for several years would probably start to feel more stale. Finally, I want to point out that software development can sometimes feel lonely. Often, I find myself putting on my headphones and diving into focused work alone for long hours. I know many people might actually prefer not being bothered and just getting their work done in peace. There's definitely something to be said for that focused, uninterrupted time. Just keep in mind, while working solo can be great, it's also important to recognize the potential for loneliness across the field. And really, it comes down to whatever you're working on. For a personal project or a side hustle, yes, but when working with a larger project or with an open source community, there's a lot more communication and a more collaborative feel if that's what you prefer. And by the way, if you feel like you need a space to chat about development or anything tech related, feel free to check out my new Discord community, which I'll link down below. But anyways, that's all I have for you today. I hope this gives you a clearer picture beyond the day-to-day routines. Feel free to share your thoughts, and if there's something important you think I missed, thanks for watching and see you on the next one.